Andrew Wilson goes scorched earth and gives the entire panel a brutal reality check. So they're discussing Jesus Christ Superstar, where Andrew Wilson is actually challenging the entire panel, including the black conservative woman here, and where he gets them to think about their opinions as well as give them viewpoints on the controversy between Cynthia Erivo playing Jesus and Jesus Christ Superstar. So Andrew Wilson is not having any of it, of course, and as you all know, he's even given the biz to Piers Morgan himself. So here we have Andrew Wilson going scorched earth on the entire panel, giving them a brutal reality check. Let's listen in.
Was in there? Yeah, I think some parts of it were, sure. Sure.
Okay, so why is that
I can tell you this: Monty Python would also they would have gone after Islam, and they would have had fun doing it. They didn't care. They were like South Park. They go after everybody. This is different. This is distinctly designed. This is distinctly designed to only mock Christianity at the expense of everything else, because that's what these people do. They only care about attacking Christianity. That's all they do. Where's Islam on ice then? Tell me where it is. Oh, these performers, they're so great. They're just making a mockery of a religion. Where is it?
You know, just hold on.
Let Mike respond, then I'll come to you, Esther. Mike?
I can't get over this. There's nothing about this that's a mockery of Christianity anymore. And by the way, the same people who are complaining about this now were complaining when John Legend played the lead in Jesus Christ Superstar about 10 years ago live on it. I believe he won his EGOT performance, by the way. Like, have a little bit of trust and confidence in your faith and your religion, and maybe pick up the Bible or go help somebody else.
I'm sorry, that's completely disingenuous.
Entire talking points.
That's a disingenuous point. No one here.
I'll be honest, I did not know that John Legend played Jesus Christ Superstar. Maybe it might be because I didn't really care for that play. But
I'm certainly not offended.
Let Esther respond.
What is being highlighted here is the double standards, and to say that it's Christians being thin-skinned or they can't accept it. That's not the case. No one. I'm certainly not offended. But there is clearly a double standard here. You can make these sorts of musicals, but there's never going to be, like Andrew said, a Muhammad on Ice. And do you know why? Because there is an issue when it comes to free speech of all religions and mocking all religions. There have been teachers in Paris, or north of Paris, that have been beheaded for making comments about Islam that are not even offensive in the grand scheme of things, but they have been literally either hounded out of their jobs in Britain here or beheaded in parts of France. So this idea that there is no double standard or that you can mock all religions equally, I'm waiting to see the Dalai Lama on ice. And then
would you guys support Judaism on ice? I'm asking you specifically, would you support a Jewish musical which bastardized the Jewish religion on ice, where they all dressed up like rabbis and skated around and were mocking Judaism? Would the two of you support that? Yes or no?
Is it funny? I don't care. Are you going to go make it? Like, if you're worried that there's something else that isn't going to get made, go make it yourself. Like, stop whining about it.
So here's what's weird here.
Don't all talk at once. Okay, listen. Okay, hang on, Ernest. I want to change topic. We've got a few things to get through. I want to bring in the Sydney Sweeney thing. Ernest, what is your view of this furore over the Good Genes ad? Let's have a look at it first and then respond.
My jeans are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has her jeans.
Just a Republican? Oh, now I love her ad. Is that right? Is Sydney Sweeney? You'd be surprised at how many people are Republicans. That's what I wouldn't have known, but I'm glad you told me that. If Sydney Sweeney is a registered Republican, I think her ad is fantastic.
So, Ernest, that was Trump responding to it. Obviously, his view was determined by whether she supported him or not. But were you genuinely offended by the Good Genes ad?
I wasn't offended. I just thought it was tacky. And I think what's funny here is that it's become politicized in such a way. I thought it was tacky because I thought the pun on it was tacky. The jeans and jeans, I just thought they knew what they were doing when they did the ad. It's doing exactly what you all want to do, which is to make it this major culture war. Now the president's weighing in on this, and we're not talking about jobs. We're not talking about what's going on with the economy.
But it only becomes a culture war, Ernest. Ernest. It only becomes a culture war if people like you get upset by it, because obviously it was a very easy pun.
Actually, it is true because the simple fact of the matter is that when people who are on the left out there, they went on ahead and started speaking out against it. There's people on TikTok and stuff. That's where the people on the right responded to those who are on TikTok putting their 2 cents in it, trying to say how outraged they are, talk about how she's talking about the white blonde hair woman and stuff is talking about how she has good genes, but not talk about the clothing that she's wearing. They're talking about, they say that she's referring to, her features, her body, etc., and everything. And they're claiming that, Ashley Sweeney is actually, no, City Sweeney, I mean, is actually saying that, women of other color and stuff don't really have good genes, though. But the fact of the matter is, they're talking about pants. It's a way of getting people to buy pants from American Eagle. And that's where it all started. And problem is that there's other people who are on the left who are saying that's not where it all started. They're saying that it all started with the right being offended. Well, it wasn't, and that's not the case when the people on the left actually started. And it's the fact that when people on the right responded, that's when they assumed that they got offended. But in reality, they didn't.
To make, she was in good genes. She's got good genes. She's a hot blonde. Who cares, right? But the moment people like you go, well, it was tacky, everyone goes, well, here they go again.
No, it's people like you at the show. It's people like you.
Hang on one second, Mike. Speak individually.
It's people like you. It's people like Tommy Lauren, the conservatives, that every time you see liberal people just share their disgust.
I'm not conservative, Ernest. I'm not conservative, Ernest.
How do you describe yourself?
You are misidentifying me, which in your world is a crime.
What? No. How are you? You call me extra
not as a conservative. You are mispolitically gendering me.
Y'all gotta admit that is funny, though. Y'all gotta admit that was funny.
Various reasons. I'm not going to tell you why.
If it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck.
Well, I would say that it's a duck. It's like a mega supporter.
But here's my question. Ernest. Here's my question. Ernest, here's my question. I'm prepared to put aside your mispolitical gendering of me. I just want to show you a picture of Beyonce in a brand new Levi's ad. Let's take a look.
I saw it.
Now, I presume, Ernest, you would share my view that this is a disgraceful, culturally appropriating moment where she is hijacking Marilyn Monroe in a disgraceful manner. In fact, borderline racist and possibly akin to the Nazis. Would you agree?
You actually don't know anything about cultural appropriation, Piers. You're just hijacking words like woke, misusing them with your political bias, and trying to spin it into something that's not. Can
you answer the question?
Appropriation? You're wrong. Period.
Are you offended by Beyonce culturally appropriating Marilyn Monroe? Yes or no?
It's not culturally appropriating Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe did not invent blonde.
Interesting.
Did she invent blonde?
She's looking like Marilyn Monroe for a reason.
Can I jump in here?
Is this a traditional black hair?
No, hang on, Mike. I want to bring in Andrew Wilson. Andrew Wilson, what is amazing to me? But hang on, let me bring in Andrew. What's amazing to me? Sydney Sweeney, a hot white blonde in jeans, saying good genes, disgraceful, world end, she's a Nazi, white supremacist.
You said
Beyonce culturally appropriating Marilyn Monroe, absolutely fine, in fact empowering. Andrew Wilson.
Yeah, this entire scandal is completely pushed by the left. What you guys should have done is just shut up. Should have just shut up. You shouldn't have said anything about it. This whole play on jeans, it was just a clever piece of wordplay. That's it. Worked out real well. And what you did by all your Twitter accounts going crazy with this is you sold all of these jeans out for this company, right? Made this chick tons of money, gave the right huge amounts of ammunition to use on you, where we just point and laugh because it's the dumbest controversy I've ever seen. And it's all pushed by woke lunatics, all of it.
My apologies. He's definitely right about that. Andrew Wilson did get it, prove one thing. It's like the people on the left, they really did, get offended over something that they thought actually meant something else, okay? Especially with those in the body positivity movement, which I am a former member of, because of the fact that the matter is I've seen how many women in that particular movement are toxic and how they made other people's problems, their own problems, made it all about them. And the problem is that, you know, it's like they made the company money. I mean, American Eagle earned $400 million in profit and stuff in the stock alone. Okay. And that's the crazy part right there, because the simple fact of the matter is that these woke lunatics out here are out here being offended about everything and making the company more money, as Andrew Wilson, you know, eloquently put it and stuff. And the fact of the matter is that Andrew Wilson did give these points and stuff because, well, it wasn't Twitter, actually. It was actually TikTok mainly. And then it went over onto like X and stuff, where you see people on the left making posts and videos and stuff talking about, you know, how offensive this is, how Sydney Sweeney is so problematic and everything. And the fact of the matter is that she was just talking about jeans. Okay, that's it. They assumed that she was talking about the jeans that spelled Genes. No, it's about jeans. Now, if American Eagle wanted to, they could have also got a plus size model out there to show where, you know, it's also for big girls, it's also for every woman. But, you know, they just, and I think it's also implied that, you know, they might have those clothes for plus size people. I mean, I don't know. I don't shop at American Eagle, but yeah, I mean, this is just all basically a farce and everything. And of course, they keep presenting the leftists on this panel keep presenting different red herrings and all of that, and other non sequiturs, to the point where this is just distasteful. And honestly, I really hope that Andrew Wilson keeps wrecking them like he is.
It was going to be done regardless.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
But I find it interesting that Ernest is saying that we should focus on the issues. Oh, suddenly, when this happens, now we have to focus on the issues. The only reason why there's any sort of media storm around this is because when people, I don't want to say conservatives, when other people wanted to focus on the issues, you had people fixating on nonsense, and you had people fixating on the fact that they'd been misgendered, or for some reason their blue hair hadn't been respected, or whatever nonsense that they could get outraged by the day. I agree, there are bigger issues like the economy, like energy and all of that. But you guys started this, unfortunately, so you don't get to complain about it. I'm sorry, Sydney Sweeney is an attractive white woman. When you have someone like Lizzo, who I'm not surprised is offended by a skinny woman just enjoying herself, saying that this is some sort of racist wordplay or whatever, that's when it becomes an issue. So you don't get to play this game of, oh, we should focus on the issue. That's what people were trying to do for years, and you never let it happen. So this is Schadenfreude, and you're going to have to lie down and accept it. And then, finally, when the adults are back in the room, then we can focus on the issues.
Mike Nelly.
I had to make a correction. Esther also went Scorched Earth, and Andrew Wilson didn't really go Scorched Earth on her.
I'm thinking of starting a company, an advertising company, where all it does is think of ways of winding up the woke world, so that they respond in a po-faced, humorless manner to all the advertising I roll out for companies, immediately creating a culture war, which they deny starting, and then immediately leading to massive new sales, as we've seen with American Eagle, for the products that the woke world is condemning. Because you know what? I've got a book coming out in a couple of months called Woke is Dead. It is dead. And the Sydney Sweeney story is a great example of why it's dead. And it's not dead because people are fed up with promoting awareness of social and racial injustice, the original definition of woke. It's dead because woke got hijacked and wokeism became the new fascism. And people are sick of it. And the Sydney Sweeney thing is a brilliant triumph for common sense by American Eagle, who rather than panic when the woke left went nuts, just laughed and put out another statement, doubling down and celebrating what Sydney Sweeney had done, which was...
Well, that's definitely true right there, because the simple fact of the matter is that, you know, people on the left and stuff is like, okay, it was black people who coined the term woke as an ad hominem and stuff, but then white liberals out there went on there and hijacked it and stuff like they always do. And then whenever somebody on the right calls them out for like that, they say, you don't know what woke means and stuff. You just hijacking word. But in reality, they hijacked it among, just like they hijack a lot of other things and stuff, and then just made it their own, stealing it from black culture. Just go ahead and give black people breadcrumbs. And that's the reason why their party is in disarray.
Look hot in a pair of jeans. Exactly as Levi's are doing with Beyonce. And by the way, I don't really think she's culturally appropriating Marilyn. I don't really think she's racist or a Nazi. I think she looks hot in a pair of jeans. That's it. I don't care if she's black or white. She, like Sydney Sweeney, is a hot woman in a hot pair of jeans. And they've both got great jeans. How about those onions?
Why is it that whenever, you know, people like on the left blame people on the right for starting stuff, they're ignoring the things that they've done before? You know, they're the ones that started these different arguments and stuff. When the right responds, they get offended and claim that, you know, you shouldn't speak on this and da-da-da-da-da. If you shut your mouth and leave it alone and move on and be focused on the things that you claim that we should be focused on, then none of this would be happening, period.
There's a double standard, because if I suddenly announced I want to play Nelson Mandela in a biopic of Nelson Mandela's life, you and Ernest would lead the outrage about how disgusting it was that I would do that.
I stopped putting words in our mouths.
You would find it disgusting.
Get two shits if you were going to do something like that.
Exactly.
It's
like you wouldn't care if I played Nelson Mandela.
You don't want to. Who cares?
It's the number.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, all right. I'm going to jump in.
You don't care. And I think that's the reality.
Can you work out which wokie's going to go first, please?
What are you saying? Like you need to put people in a box. You're like talking about how you have this binary of like everything is either all the way one way or not. No one cares. Like it's not that deal. Like I think the problem is that you look at the internet.
If only that was true, Ernest. Ernest, if only that was true. If only we hadn't spent the last 5 years with people like you absolutely caring, which is why the world went woke nuts.
Again, I can say people like you about a lot of things. You overreact about the dumbest stuff. Like the Sydney Sweeney thing is a non-issue.
Well, I'm not saying Ernest.
Got mad, and now you want to act like you're defending common sense because you're overreacting to a bunch of liberals on the internet that said something. I don't care.
It's only overreaction when you're on the losing end of the issue.
Ernest, hang on. Ernest. I'm not saying that you're part of a woke cult, you and Mike. You have turned out today in exactly the same purple shirts, and I'm not saying you're a woke cult, but
mine's. I think this is.
I mean, look.
Like maroon.
It's like a uniform.
Suddenly, you guys don't care when you're on the losing end of an issue, right? If you're on the winning end of the issue, you would care. And the truth is, we've seen this how many times where you guys freak out over nothing. The left freaks out over absolutely nothing like this. And all that happens is once you start losing the issue, then it's everyone's overreacting, and it's actually the conservatives' fault.
No, see, that's bullshit.
Conservatives
we want to talk about the issues.
We didn't push this, bro.
Let's talk about the issues, even though on the issues, the Democrats are at an all-time low in opinion polls. But let's talk about the issues, because that's where the left is really
So is Donald Trump. Donald Trump's approval ratings free-falling right now. So, like, you guys have a level
of... Yeah, but he's president. That's the difference. That's the difference.
Yeah, but you know what, Mike?
You did not live on that.
You know what, Mike? Donald Trump is... Don't talk at once. Donald Trump is back... Hang on. Donald Trump is back in the White House, Mike, because after 4 years of him being out of the White House, Americans went... So let me get this... Hang on, Ernest. Donald Trump is back in the White House because Americans went, actually, we don't think it's right that biological men compete in women's sport. It's bullshit. And we've had enough of this. So, yes, it was the economy. Yes, it was immigration. But also, it was an antidote to wokeism. Let me bring in Esther or something else.
I want to push back on this.
We might agree. Well, no, we haven't got time. We're moving on to Jim Acosta.
Oh, come on.
Oh, that's rich. So yeah, basically we had the book left on this panel just going ahead and constantly whining and stuff because of the viewpoints that like Piers Morgan and even Andrew Wilson have made and stuff, and they kept continuing to push on to, you know, how the right started this whole controversy with, you know, Sydney Sweeney on the American Jeans ad, as well as how they're responding to Cynthia Erivo playing Jesus Christ and Jesus Christ Superstar and stuff. And the fact of the matter is that they don't really have a leg to stand on. And Andrew Wilson did put out there some excellently valid points and stuff on these different topics. And of course, they're going to be butthurt about this because the simple fact of the matter is that, you know, they lack accountability. Okay, and they're really lacking accountability. The establishment right also lack accountability, but the liberals on this panel, they definitely lack accountability. And you have here where Andrew Wilson definitely demolished the entire panel with the exception of Esther, of course. And yeah, basically, it's like if you're gonna go ahead and say something and be offended by it, and expect the backlash to come for those who have political opposing viewpoints and stuff. And if you are and stuff and you see them coming at you, be prepared to back it up. So let me know your thoughts on this on Andrew Wilson absolutely going scorched earth on the entire panel and stuff, giving them a brutal reality check. And I'll see you on the next one. Until then, peace.